Cool. Well, we're rolling. Vince, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What can you tell me about Blanton Contracting?
Gosh.
Where
The
where did it start, I guess?
yeah, it started back in 2016, the idea of going on our own and leaving the what I call the W-2 world, and got into some spec houses with a partner, played around with that, and just kind of grew it. And then later in 19, we had different directions or different visions for life. Nothing real, negative to say there. And then so at that point is when Blanton Contracting like fully came to light to stand on its own. And so it's been around since 2016, but then 2020 is when we really just stepped into the real world by ourselves. And then, we had one employee when we first started, and then we picked up two or three more that first year of 2020 as we played through COVID and figured it out. And then since then, we've just been on a pretty strong growth path. And we've shifted focus from residential to multifamily to now we're predominantly in commercial and multifamily. And we'll look at, like, we call them signature homes. So it's more your higher end customs and such. Is there just a better fit for us right now? There's a lot of synergy and similarities in the way that our processes fit between commercial and these higher end customs. And so we see it as a better workflow, better product that comes out of it for everybody.
Right on. And you say is it you, like any family with you, just you and your team?
Yep, just me. We is the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my wife is involved. She's a CPA by trade. And so she left the corporate world here last year. And so she helps us out on the accounting side and just the long range forecasting, and has been a huge asset to have since the beginning. Like, she's a genius when it comes to that.
I know a guy who owns a business here locally. I guess I won't say his name, but his wife is I don't know if she's a CPA, but she's a bookkeeper and she doesn't do any of his business stuff.
It took us 10 years to convince my wife to come help us. We definitely will butt heads some days.
Yeah. I think that's the reason is like, you just wonder, is this a good idea or a bad idea? It can be very helpful though, depending on how it's arranged.
Right. Yeah. And she likes horses. So the flexibility allows her to go play with her horses now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where did you start in construction? Was there a trade you were in when you got into it?
Yeah, I started right at high school age in the heavy civil world. So we were doing underground utilities for subdivisions and such, and did that through, I don't know, all the way through college actually, and all the way until just about 10 years ago, left the heavy civil side, and that's when we went vertical and started doing the houses and the commercial structures.
So you're an engineer by
not a true engineer.
Okay.
Construction engineering.
Okay.
So that's CET. So, CE plus.
Okay.
So we're not quite as smart, but we still learn some engineering side of it in school and stuff. And MSU here has a great program on it. I mean, I've always been an advocate for it, and certainly get a lot of good kids that come from there. And I think you've had some guys on here in the past that went to college with over there as well.
Yeah. And like Riley, which I know you're friends with Riley, and his story was cool because he was in their business program, and I think he bid at his first job there while he was still in school. And are you a alumni too from MSU?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Finished there in 2011.
Nice.
So, and before that, I came from Minnesota, moved out here for fun, really, 20 years ago, and left Minnesota with a 2-year degree in technical college for automotive repair. Tried that out for about 5 minutes, then realized that I like construction better, and just held on to the automotive side always. And it's a hobby of mine to play with them. But then, stayed in that heavy civil, and then went back to college here at Montana State, met my wife at college, and we just locked in the community and never left.
Nice. So when you started out in 2016, are you guys doing any of the trades on the projects? Or are you guys subbing everything out, or is there a lot you're doing yourself?
It was a mixture then. I mean, it was more management, and then, we self-performed some of like framing, siding, some roofing, but we realized that, like, yes, we could do it. It's hard to scale at that. And so we would basically double down and, spread the workload across multiple projects instead.
Did you ever consider that, trying to have like your entire team of tradesmen doing everything, or?
for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It sounds really fun, but like I said, the scaling side of it, like it hinders us quite a bit. And we've had different, like we bought a couple companies over the years that specialize in a certain trade scope, and they work for a while and then it just kind of fizzled out. They were originally owner operators that then wanted to just come under our flag and just be solely exclusive to us. And we just never really found that as a good fit. I mean, we're always looking, don't get me wrong. If anybody wants to sell a business, please let me know.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to vertically integrate as much as possible, but we just haven't really found that good fit. So we perform at a more professional level. And so some people call it suitcase contracting in a way, but we still self-perform some things. We've got laborers on staff, we have superintendents that, they can put a set of bags on if they need to.
Yeah.
But, we let the professionals do what they're good at and focus on that. And then we focus what we're good at.
So how would you describe that term, suitcase contracting? Hi, folks. Quick note from me. If you don't already know, the goal of Mountain Mule is to build real connection between Montana's businesses and the people they serve. If this episode or any other has given you something worth thinking about, smiling at, passing along, I've got a small ask. Share it with a friend, text it to someone, consider following the show. Whether you're using our services directly or following and sharing the show, those simple actions help support this business as well as the businesses and guests that have been a part of the show. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses, local jobs, and this beautiful state. Now back to the show.
Where you don't self-perform anything.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. You're just management only. And it's kind of a crude term, I suppose. Some people get offended by it. We embrace it. We're like, yeah, like we know that some of these projects that we're managing it. That's all we're going to do. We're construction manager.
So how big is your guys' internal team?
We got 9 of us total.
Okay. Is that a lot? How many of those are superintendents?
We got 2 superintendents. We got a project engineer, project coordinator, project manager, and then each superintendent has what we call basically what the heck construction assistant.
Okay.
Is the title I came up with. And they're both really sharp early 20s, mid 20s guys. And they're basically being groomed at this point to head towards the superintendent path.
Yeah.
They'll step into like foreman role here, and then they'll get some more responsibilities and such, and then they'll move into superintendent. I bet you they're on a 5-year path before they're fully just let go on their own.
So they'll learn from that superintendent and just on the job experience. Yep. And they're maybe doing some pickup work here and there on site.
Yep. All of the above.
Did you go through any of that process or not really?
I've done some of it. I mean, I would not consider myself a master carpenter by any means, and I will not admit that I am.
Okay.
I will gladly say I suck at that.
Okay. So you're like, your specialty is really managing these guys and managing these projects.
Yep. Business-minded, forward-looking, risk management. With the entire heavy civil background, I own an entire fleet of equipment that, we'll go self-perform all the site work on, more of our own projects I'll do it on, something that we own or invested in. But most of the time, if it's a for-client project, it's kind of got to be the right situation for us to go self-perform that, because it takes me out of the office. I mean, I love sitting in the equipment and playing in it, but at the same time, like, it will distract me from, what I need to be doing day to day.
So is that what you do when you there's things you don't want to do in the office?
100%.
I gotta go move some equipment around. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh man, I gotta fill out this form or write a contract. Oh, I probably got to go move the dump truck. That sounds more appealing.
I know exactly how that feels because I do the same types of things. So your custom homes, the bigger custom homes is the main thing you're doing right now? Yeah,
on the residential side.
Did you guys get into any of the big commercial apartment buildings or anything like that?
Apartment side has been smaller for us. We've looked at some larger ones. A lot of times there's certain factors to it where we might not qualify or we're not staffed enough for it. And it's a hindrance to us. We know that, we recognize it, and we certainly are trying to scale so that we could take on some of those projects.
Yeah. Riley gave us a tour of his shop. You guys managed that one, right?
Yeah. We built that one out for him.
Beautiful shop.
Yeah. That one turned out really nice. And then we did right next to him as well.
Okay. Who's is that Yard Guard next to him? Okay.
It's Yard Guard.
I haven't met him yet, but I've been in in talks with him about
Well,
coming to do a podcast.
You should tell him to do a podcast.
Yeah, I have been. We'll make it happen. And then your guys' shop is over that way too.
Yep. And then we're one more street south of them guys. We've got our office right there as well.
And I think I saw some Blanton Tyvek on a house it's like off of Kagi and that new, is it something Crane?
Oh yeah, Sandhills.
Yeah.
Yep. And so yep, we're up there. That's it's our only custom home we have going right now.
Nice.
That one.
That's a pretty big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like it. Home.
And then you guys have some other stuff going out here off Jackrabbit or no?
Yeah, we do. We just finished right off of Jackrabbit, once removed kind of for Central Valley Fire.
Okay.
They had a new fleet maintenance facility. And then right on Jackrabbit, we're just wrapping up a building that's got a couple national tenants in it. That one's right in front of Rosars.
Okay.
And so then we got a couple more that we're in the middle of design on that are, in proximity to that.
Are you guys doing anything on campus these days?
We always look at stuff with campus.
Yeah.
Their cycle this year was a little bit smaller projects. And so we just smaller projects, and they had this summer window. They were kind of cram them in, and it just didn't fit right with their schedules. And so we didn't want to, consume resources there and then distract our other clients. It just was a disservice.
Yeah.
And so in the Museum of the Rockies, we love doing work for them as well. Mm-hmm. And so we've done pretty much the last 3 years, we've had something going, and then now they're in a pause. And I think they're doing like a big campaign to do kind of a much bigger project there.
Yeah. I was doing, you'll probably recognize the name. A few years back, I was doing some work with Chris Cabaz.
Yeah.
And so we were doing like some of the siding, and we did somewhere off of Valley Center. I know you guys had a house like somewhere in there. I know we did some of the siding on that.
Yeah. I think there was some townhomes in there and stuff.
Yeah. But I don't know if he's still doing work with you guys, but he's a pretty good sider.
Yeah. We like Chris a lot.
Yeah. I learned a lot from him just because he's pretty snazzy with some of his tricks, but he can put some siding up fast. He hustles. Yeah. But that's what I was saying. I think we've like crossed paths enough, but haven't directly met. But I know, was it Jake and Ted? They're both still with you, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And they're both superintendents?
Jake's project manager and then Ted superintendent.
Nice.
Yeah, that must have been, heck, I can't remember which one that was, but I know the area.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the road, but you jump off Valley Center and kind of head north. Maybe there's a couple, like, I don't know if it's close by to your house maybe, but I'm not sure. I've just had stuff pointed out to me, but yeah. So you're at 9 now. Like, how's the process been for you, going from like 1 guy to 9 guy and leading a team and then leading a team, leading projects?
It was a little bit of a shit show for a minute. I mean, COVID didn't help by any means. I mean, we steamrolled into it through COVID and had as much work as you could possibly want from a project standpoint. And we were bringing new guys in at the same time, and, younger guys, and trying to grow them. And, one guy was just out of college and just super smart, but just green. It's just younger. It's how it goes. And so we had a lot of trials and tribulations for a few years through there. And so once we got our core built, which would have been like 2024, we actually took a step back and shed some clientele and such, anything that was a bad fit for us, and just really focused on making our foundation strong. And so we got, a core team built around us. We got some better systems in place, just better processes, and just overall maturity in the team growth and working together and such. And so we carried that into 25 as well. And then we were able to, grow a little bit in 25, but we never set like these big, huge growth benchmarks.
Yeah.
We just said, let's focus on what we do well. And then also let's focus on making this foundation strong. And then once it's strong, we will know when it's time to take the next step. And so then 26, what year is it? 26, 25, sorry. 25 was like really the step out year.
Yeah.
So it started steamrolling, and that snowball got bigger and bigger and bigger all the way through 25 into the first quarter of 26. And it was fun.
Yeah.
We built a lot of stuff in 12 months.
I know that feeling because I like grew pretty fast in 25. And then I'm almost like, all right, let's like get a little organized, because it starts to feel a little shaky.
Yeah. It's a real thing. I mean, it's a stair step. And we've always looked at it from that is, you just step up and then you plateau for a minute. plateau could be 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. It's everybody runs at their own pace. And so we're kind of in that, I'd say, plateau year again. We've finished a mess of projects and finished them strong. And then now we're held up in starting some new ones with, regulation and design and just a myriad of other things. And so, at first we're like, oh my gosh. And it's like, hold on, like it's kind of nice not to have 10 going at once. Let's reassess the last 24 months for the next 6 months. And like, let's build our team stronger. Like we had a review today with one of our teammates, his annual review. And, we really had a great conversation of like, how do we make you stronger? And how do we like make sure you're doing what you're liking to do and like your quality of life is there and everything. So like this moment right now allows us to take that step back and reflect and assess and be like, okay, what do you need as an employee to do your job better?
Have you guys implemented things to like, to track performance and that kind of stuff?
I'm not smart enough to really fully understand KPIs and like everybody gets, boxes or benchmarks they got to fill out. I mean, we have a few KPIs and it's like company performance tied overall, and we openly communicate about that. And, with benchmarks for margin to hit and such, and we discuss through those things, but we never built like a quarterly review where it's like, did you do this 6 times? Did you do this 7 times? Basically building a matrix essentially. So we try to keep it more. I mean, I feel like when you step into that, if not done right, you can lose some of your culture and you can lose some of your camaraderie and such. I don't know if that's the right word, but if I said it right.
No, I get what you're saying. A friend of mine works for a very large tool company, and he's told me, he's like, be careful like how much stuff you implement though, because then it's like there's so much bureaucracy to like get anything done.
Right. Yeah. I have our current business coach. I was talking to him the other day and he's like, why did you set a goal of like 20 SOPs at one of your last peer group meetings? And I was like, I don't know. I just feel like we don't have enough SOPs. And he's like, what are you going to do? Like, what are you making them for? And I was like, again, I don't know. I was like, I just thought I was supposed to do this. And he's like, that's ridiculous. Like, yes, they are what you should do. And yes, they're appropriate at certain times. But he's like, don't go make a goal of like to build 20 of them, to build 20 of them. I said, you're going to make them and they're just going to put them on a shelf. And you're never going to touch them.
Yeah.
He's like, act with purpose on those. And I was like, oh, okay. So he's like, let's make one. And so we're working on one around just pre-construction. And he's like, this is what matters. Like, this is a real one. Like, who the hell cares if you need to make an SOP, how to use a printer or something of that magnitude?
Yeah.
How to take lunch break.
When you look at like an SOP or any of this like KPIs, do you think of like how you design a whole construction project is like similar to how you design a team and culture and anything?
Yeah, in a way.
Because I mean, I know like schedules are always the big thing in construction, of hitting those schedules. So there's kind of like a KPI built into your construction schedule, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like we got to hit, like foundation, framing, etc.
Well, I mean, every construction line item on that schedule really is a KPI.
Yeah.
I mean, we just set dates and, that if we hit that date, that's great. And we met our KPI.
So yeah, I guess it's kind of built in that sense.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like if you start opening that onion and taking it apart, you're like, oh, we kind of are already doing it.
That makes complete sense.
It's just not, it's not put in a real nice, clean format that someone from the outside looking in could truly understand that you're doing it.
So you've got the superintendents, the project managers. Where do you fall on, like, how do you help them or how do you lead them?
I try not to. I just disappear all day long. No, I really let people, have basically make their own decisions, right?
Yeah.
I try not to get myself down into the weeds with everything, but kind of hold higher up a little bit, allow them to like make their own decisions. Everybody's always open for questions, but we've kind of learned as a team, as we've grown together, it's like, don't come to me if you need to know how to open a door, right?
Yeah.
Or a repetitive task or something. But like, if it's a bigger item or, a lot of cost involved, or if it's, client relation, or even employee relation, like then we'll sit down and work through it as a team. But I don't, when you say what would I do, it's kind of just leading from a very high level.
Yeah.
And a lot of self-autonomy I'm a big fan of.
I asked that because I think I had a woman on the podcast a while back, Kelly Ramirez, and she's a business coach and consultant, and she was kind of explaining that when you step into more leading your business or your company, you're moving people, you're not really doing the work yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have a hard time with that because I'm a carpenter by trade and I grew up farming, and I'm like, man, sometimes I don't know how to it's hard for me to even understand the concept of accomplishing something without physically doing it myself.
I have days like that.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. I mean, I think one way I've looked at it recently is like you have your founder mentality and then you have your CEO mentality. And the founder is the fun. Like there's a lot of fun in founder mentality. That's where you just grind through it and everything's exciting and you're growing and, you're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping for the best. And then CEO is when you really got to step into that leadership role.
Yeah.
And say long-term vision and remove yourself from doing something for somebody, but then teach them how to do it. And I say that's where I'm at right now. I mean, I'm 41, I think, 41, 42. And so learning that is certainly a big switch in the way you think.
Stepping into that CEO.
Stepping into that more CEO type role, because I really like to go out and do stuff, but I realize it's very distracting.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you do that, it's great, but you have to realize that you're not going to be able to scale to where you want to go. And so you just got to be able to, say, hey, if this is my benchmark, then that benchmark allows me to do founder and CEO. If I want to move that benchmark, then I have to pull the founder hat off and I got to go full CEO level.
That's what Riley was saying, that he's really good at delegating, and it really is a skill.
Yeah.
Because you almost trick yourself, at least I'll speak for myself, but if I go do a bunch of stuff, I'm like, man, I got all that stuff done. But I also distracted myself from the stuff that really might move the needle.
Yeah,
it's short term. It's the weirdest vice to think doing a bunch of work is avoiding work.
It's rewarding sometimes just to go out and just be like, all right, I got these 10 things done. And you just feel like you accomplished something. And then if you look at them, you're like, yeah, those are all $20 an hour tasks that I just finished. Yeah. But I got them done and I'm happy with them and I feel accomplished.
Yeah.
It's good to have days like that still.
Yeah. There's even $10 an hour tasks sometimes. Yeah.
I don't know who you're getting for $10 an hour right now.
You're right. Yeah. That's, I guess, someone overseas answering the phone.
Right. So, and Riley's point that I always kind of run into a situation or look into is if I'm in whatever it is, just not even a situation, but just in general, it's like, who can I get to do this for me? And that took a long time to shift the mindset of not because of, not from a lazy mindset, but understanding that you have to divide and conquer to actually get anything done. And so that one took a while.
And I've realized too with hiring is there's people that are so much better at the things I was doing too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's becomes obvious really quick.
Yeah.
I should have probably never been doing this, but I had to. But when you're in the founder stage, you're just a jack of all trades.
The best is when you think you're good at it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, someone schools you on it and you're like, wow, I'm just going to leave. You got this.
Yeah. Because then you just realize you are working at the rate of $5 an hour because somebody else can get 6 hours worth done in 30 minutes.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a process. I'm asking this because I'm going through it myself. I'm like, man, it's a journey.
It is. It's a journey. And it can be as complicated or as, easy or streamlined as you want it to be. I mean, I say the same thing about any project we build. It's like this project, you can make it as hard as you want, or we can actually make this pretty easy and streamlined and, do it the streamlined way. Things actually kind of naturally just fall together.
Yeah.
And it looks easy, but it's because we've been doing a ton of preparation in the background and forward thinking and planning ahead.
This custom home you're working on now, the one I brought up, what's the, from the day you guys, maybe make the bid for it to the day it's people can occupy it? Is that a 2 to 3 year thing? Is it less than that?
That one overall, from the day we started, even discussing design to move in, will be 2-year process. It's right about there. So there's an interviewing process up front where we interviewed each other and we got to know each other and such. And then we moved into pre-construction. At that point, it took us a year of design and selections and stuff and budget building to get us to a comfortable point to move forward. And then, we have a year of construction.
Right on. How about the process of finding contractors you like to work with? Has that been a tricky process?
A little bit. I mean, it's not too bad at the end of the day. I think is because we use a lot of repetitive trade partners, and then we've built relationships with them and such over the years. And we are slow to bring in new people to our circle, and it's not because we don't want to. It's just like there's 100 guys out there that can do any scope or trade, if not more. So it's like you got to be careful. Like, you want to build a relationship, you want to see what their quality is. You want to try them out on something, but we don't try them out on something that's a high risk or high profile. It's like, hey, let's work on something smaller over here and build our relationship this way. And that allows us to just continuously build a stronger team, is how we've always looked at it.
I think about that with my business too, because we've got like all our vehicles and cars, and there's essentially two models to the industry, where the company owns all the fleet and has all W-2 employees, or it's all owner operators. Mm-hmm. I own all our fleet right now, and I'm like, the other model is so much more appealing. The incentives are so much better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the owner operators, like, just like these subcontractors, they're obviously very bought in.
Yeah.
Because they're invested with their time, tools, equipment, team. So it's been like, that's been an interesting journey of how do you motivate people internally, but where's that trade-off, and where is it better off to outsource?
That's a good question on that one. I would take a while to try to figure that one out. I'd almost, for like that, it seems like you probably could have both.
Yeah.
And that would probably be the best of both worlds, is you get some guys that don't want to take that risk.
Yeah.
And the other guys are like, they're amazing, but they want to be the owner operator.
And we kind of do it now. What they call it in the industry is farm out. So you have an overflow work, so you farm it out to essentially another company. The margins aren't as great, but the guys are so bought in because it's their own, they've got bills to pay, and but building that buy-in internally is a little bit different because I have all the bills to pay. They obviously have their own personal bills too, but it's equipment and cars and everything else are expensive.
All those things are expensive.
Have you, as far as your internal team, do you think about that as far as incentivizing them and keeping them bought in?
And from like almost having them like operate as like an independent contractor.
Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's your company, so it falls on you.
That's a model from basically management up. We haven't, or I've never had interest in. I've seen it, like, you can do contract for hire on certain projects and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's more of a national level or a regional level builder way I look at it. Is these guys get $10 million job that's 3 states away from their home office, and they'll contract hire these roaming superintendents.
Oh, interesting.
Superintendents that only work contract for hire, and they'll go to jobs for 2 years at a time, and that's their lifestyle. Like, that's what they want to do. And I've seen it work for people, but for us, we'd rather build culture in a team. Yeah. And I think that way of doing it, like, it'd be hard to get someone ever to really be invested in the team.
Yeah, that'd be kind of tough. It sounds like a tough, unless you like living on the road a lot and then like rebuilding team culture every job. How have you done that with your team to build your guys' culture?
Oh gosh, I don't know how to put that into writing or words. Really just being generally interested and invested in them and wanting them to grow has really helped, I would say, build our culture. And there's a lot of accountability. And so the guys that don't like accountability haven't lasted very long, or gals. But the ones that like accountability and enjoy a professional setting kind of just naturally find their way into it. I mean, I think almost all our hires are organic, and they've been a referral from someone else, or they've had a personal relationship with one of our team members. And that's something that's always been pretty much the best way to acquire teams, is somehow you already have that connection.
So it's word of mouth. Like you maybe started with the one guy and now you said you're at 9.
Yep. Word of mouth. Pretty much. I mean, one of our positions, we sat down as a team one day and we're like, hey, we want to add this position to our company. And someone goes, actually, I know somebody. I used to work with them 2 companies ago, and I think they'd be a good fit for that. And so then we just started that process from there, and it just worked out really well.
What's been your best hire to date as far as like adding a position or anything like that?
I'm on public record. I can't say things like that.
I just mean as far as a position, not the person.
They'll hold it against me, I'm sure. All of them actually, like they all allow us to do, to grow and do and focus on different things. I mean, the last year adding a project coordinator and a project engineer has been really great. It's allowed myself and Jake to free up time on things that we might get bogged down into. It's actually given the superintendents some of their time back. We allow 2 people to really dive into the details and just kind of organize the chaos a little bit. And so those have been really enjoyable hires over the last year. The next one we haven't really defined. Sometimes I think I'd like an estimator, but then I'm terrified of the guy just slinging numbers out there, hoping for the best.
Is that pretty much what you're doing now?
It's a shared position of estimating. There's 2 or 3 of us that work on it, and we work together as a team on about everything.
How about as far as, getting new works, getting new jobs and, advertising, that kind of stuff? Is that something you spend a lot of time and money on?
We spend a lot of time and effort into it. Our biggest lead generators are our past clients. And so ensuring that we delivered expectations on both sides, everybody had a good experience, quality of work was there, etc. And so we were able to just take the slow road of building this reputation and building this brand, and which has allowed us to just, slowly gain traction in the market and gain recognition and gain more clientele. And the more architects that we work with and make connections with and get to talk to, and the more engineers and the more, banking representatives and real estate agents, that's where most of our leads come from, is that versus like Google or something like that.
Yep.
And Google's great for a verification of who we are. They can go find us, but our sales cycle is so long and it's predominantly built on trust. It's typically coming from someone we have a relationship with already. And so that's how we've built it. And we knew it's the long way to go, but organically is more enjoyable.
Yeah. And I'll just say from like a branding standpoint too, I see you guys brand all over the place, just at least on your trucks and with your Tyvek. I'm like, so I just like it's clicked enough times. I don't know. They say like 10 touch points. I've seen it dozens of times.
We try to put it everywhere.
Yeah.
I always laugh. They're like, I see your trucks everywhere. And I'm like, no, it's just one guy. I just pay him the driver.
Just
a billboard.
That makes sense. How about how's technology affected your guys' industry? Do you guys using a lot of AI and stuff with the estimating and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. AI on the estimating is still a little dangerous. But we've used it to analyze specs and plans and such, and it's actually done pretty cool.
Yeah.
On that side of it. I feel like every week we just like take another step with AI of what we can do. I mean, the other day I felt like I just found the internet for the first time, but just once you start realizing how powerful Claude is in chat, once you really understand the prompts into it and such. And so, and we're getting, some of the older people on our team, Jake predominantly.
Shout out to Jake.
Yeah. He forever was like, I don't want to use that. I don't want to use that. And now I've got him on chat and Claude playing with it. And, even he's like, oh, wow, okay, I get it. Like if you feed into it correctly, the right prompt, you'll get what you're looking for out of it.
Yeah. I think the biggest issue with it is the way you prompt it.
Yeah.
Like it's the user. And I've realized that firsthand.
Oh yeah. I've seen myself feed garbage in and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I got garbage out.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm getting mad at it. Like, because I'm the one that fed shit into
better.
It. Yeah. It's interesting. And I've realized that too, is it's incredible what it can do. But if you know enough, like you gotta like double check things, because I could see where things get carried away pretty fast.
Oh yeah.
And it's,
a lot of ghost things it'll come up with. They're false facts.
Yeah.
But so far it hasn't led us astray, but we've also like kind of stepped into it slower and didn't fully trust it, just blindly of just like, oh, this is what it said. This must be true.
Yeah.
And that's helped protect us from it. I think it's great. I have found its limitations someday when you really, really get into it, like a real technical analysis of certain things. You know, it can't get to the information, because now I'm starting to see certain platforms like not let AI dive into its database. And so then you're kind of held hostage. You really can't run a deep analysis on something.
It's a little, I don't know, it's kind of scary, but I was saying to my fiance, I'm like, I haven't noticed as much AI stuff, at least online. I'm like, that's probably letting me know how good it's getting. Because for a while you could kind of catch just with the way things were written and said in some of the video, and I don't see it as much now. So I'm like, it must be getting pretty sharp.
I think half the stuff we probably see out there is AI generated. We don't even realize it.
Yeah.
I saw this morning that they're doing a AI movie.
Like oh, really?
They used AI and basically for $2,000 built a motion picture. And that's kind of like, wow, okay, that's a whole new thing.
Yeah, this was at least 6 months ago, if not a year ago, somewhere in that timeline. But there's a software company we use for a lot of our booking with transportation, and the CEO, he does these monthly calls, and he's just kind of showing you new features in the software. And he built a bot that was him, and you really couldn't tell that it was the bot talking, and it was essentially his bot that he made. And I'm like, that was roughly a year ago, so I don't even know if he does the calls anymore.
Huh. That's interesting. How do you do that?
I don't know, but it's like you could almost make a Vince that was like, this was pretty convincing. And some people are saying if I knew you really well and like we'd known each other for 10 years, I'd probably like, read some text or see some stuff and be like, this isn't Vince, but they say like it's getting pretty good now to where it almost knows you better than you know yourself. And then
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially for like lead intakes.
They say the agents or the AI agents are the new thing that can essentially do a lot of stuff for you without you even being involved. Huh. There was an analogy that Claude or Chat is kind of like a hammer. Like you still got to drive it, but these agents are like completely automated. I forget the analogy for what the agents are, but like they don't need you. It's like somebody else driving the hammer for you.
Wow. Where do you get I don't even know what platform these agents are on or what they're called, or
I don't know enough. But my fiance Amy just said that they're somewhere in town. They were doing a workshop about building agents. So I can send you the info if I find out.
I could ask Claude and it'd probably tell me.
So yeah, I don't know. It's like, I think that can be great too, but if it could also run away with like, it's talking to your clients and you're just letting it go. And so I don't know where that, like,
it's scary. Yeah. At the same time, it might be more controlled than just hiring a new hire and say, good luck, go represent us and sell us some products.
I was in Austin recently, and then I guess a while back from there in Phoenix, and did the Waymos in both. I was pretty impressed, like both times. Like it gets weird for about 5 minutes sitting there and just watching a steering wheel turn and nobody's in there. But I could see why it's safer than a human.
Probably.
So you think about that with a lot of the stuff. You're like, oh, this is actually safer than a human. And from an insurance standpoint, you could see where that's going to sell.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've never tried the Waymo yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm quite there.
Yeah, it was, I didn't think it was. And then like 10 minutes later, I'd forgot about it. And I'm talking to Amy and I'm like, I don't know, 30 minutes later, we were where we needed to be.
Oh, I'll try it next time.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll ever, I'm sure they'll be in Bozeman at some point, but so backing up to like, you were saying, building these relationships, and we're talking about AI. What have you done to build these relationships? Like,
it's nothing. There's no secret sauce, really. It's just long-term knowing people.
Yeah.
And just like basically say-do ratio is probably the biggest thing that we really hit on is you will naturally be able to build relationships and rapport with people if you just say what do what you say you're going to do. And so that's kind of one secret sauce, I guess, piece of advice that we always do. And outside of that, it's just, being good, decent human beings, and then communicating and being honest with people, and, just being forthcoming on certain things. I mean, I feel like contractors get a really bad rap out there from, like, there's 10 shitty ones to 100 good ones. And those real bad ones end up kind of putting a cloud across the whole industry. And so it's like pushing water uphill some days, for sure, working through that. But it just takes time. I mean, like I said, with the long sales cycle, it just takes time to build trust. It's not like someone's calling me and saying, can you, come change my toilet out? Or, it's a 1 hour transaction. These are multiple year transactions. Like we were talking about that one house, like, or we'll be into it 2 years. And then after that, we got a 1 year warranty. So it's, a minimum 3-year marriage basically with any client.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, the size of Bozeman, it's a very small, big city. It's a small city, but it's such a small town. And I've been here for 7 years, and it's, doing this podcast doesn't help my case, but I just, like, I see people everywhere that I know, and it's like your reputation will follow you around.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. Every time you get on a plane and go somewhere or come back flying into Bozeman, I mean, you're guaranteeing to see someone or recognize or have some relationship with. We're just still that small of a community.
I realize that every time I do fly out of here, and it's like, it's something I always hope. I'm like, I hope I see at least one person I know.
Yeah.
Because I'll be bummed if we get to the point where I don't anymore.
That's a real thing. I'm glad I'm not the only one that has that thought.
Yeah. It was funny. Last time me and my fiance were flying out, this guy came up to us and started talking to us, and he had one of Amy's horses had an accident, and we needed some square bales, and he had, like, him and his wife were friends with, and they gave us some square bales, and he's like, oh, hey guys, how was that hay? And I'm like, yeah, this is the kind of community feel I love to have at the airport.
Right.
Which is kind of like only at the Bozeman airport would you have a conversation with the guy that lent you some hay.
Right.
But I don't know, as it grows, there's just more people, so it becomes a numbers thing.
It is. I mean, I've seen some people, you do see it sometimes where coming from larger, markets and such, everything turns into a transaction for them. And trying to remind people of, like, hey, like, you moved here for a reason. Like, this is no longer a transactional society. Like, it's a, relationship built.
Yeah. Is the see-do, is that your phrase you came up with, or does that come from someone?
Say-do ratio?
The say-do ratio?
I don't know. I think it got told on me, or someone presented it to me during a, performance review back in the day. And it was a good thing. It was like, you had a really high say-do ratio, and it's something that's always just stuck. And then the more that we really drill into it and talk about it and watch the whole team, take that culture on, you're like, okay, there really is something here. Like, people just at the end of the day know that if you say something, you're going to deliver on it, and you're just going to build that trust.
Yeah. It sounds like a t-shirt or a meme or something you'd have in a shop wall or something.
It's not good for business coaches because you can't really sell it.
Yeah.
Can't really write a whole book on it.
Yeah.
So, but it's pretty simple.
Yeah. Do what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. What else? Anything else anyone should know about Blanton, what you guys are doing, or anything you've learned?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm not very good at talking about ourselves. I'm usually pretty humble. Someone's got to ask me questions to pull it out of me to just kind of expand on it more. I mean, we're just actively growing, and we're really enjoying being a part of this community itself as it grows, especially Belgrade. With being based in Belgrade, and then bringing new businesses into Belgrade and growing smaller businesses. I have a lot of fun with, like, Rivers or Yard Guard and similar type ones where these smaller businesses are coming in, they're ready to expand. They're ready to take that next step. And it's exciting to help with them, from land acquisition to financing acquisition to just basically delivering the final product.
Yeah.
And that's one of the more favorite parts of my job, because everybody's excited. And you're also getting to, like, watch these small businesses grow around you.
Yeah.
And that's a super cool thing.
Just looking out to Jackrabbit with where we are, there's a lot growing out here. It's almost like you're like there's going to be a lot of the resources here, so you wouldn't need to go into Bozeman. Not that there's anything wrong with Bozeman, but some like it's obviously a little bit more affordable out here, and I just think that there's more of a hub being built kind of right here by the airport, and it's I think that Rose Hours is going to be huge right there.
Yeah, that the Rose Hours is going to be that anchor that I think that really helps Belgrade grow itself from, it's always been kind of a bedroom community.
Yeah.
And actually be kind of standalone on its own. I think it's going to help the community as a whole shift some preconceived notions from years and years and years ago about the city and such. And just, they're doing a great job. I mean, even the municipality, like dealing with the permitting side of things, like they've adopted some things from Bozeman, and they're certainly trying to streamline and make it more professional. But also like, hey, we're not going to let you guys just come in and bulldoze us like we're some small backwoods town. Like, we need it done right. And so it's really been enjoyable to watch that and be a part of it.
Yeah. And being located here, I'm excited for that Rose Hours. I just think it's going to be it is going to shift the dynamic a lot.
Yep.
And nothing against the Albertson, but sometimes the traffic over there gets a little brutal.
First world problems is really what it is. But now it's like, I don't have to cross the interstate.
Yeah. It's like the train and the school and everything. But yeah, very first world problem.
Yeah. So especially when they start the construction on the underpass down there past Albertsons, that's going to get tough on traffic for a while.
What are they going to make? What's the plan over there? Because I'd heard it's something of like a pass over the train. I've heard of like several different ideas.
I've always been told it's under the train, but
oh, really?
It could go over. I don't know. I haven't seen any plans for it, but there's a couple roundabouts that are going to strategically be placed to help ease traffic, and they'll go in order. Roundabout 1, which the one in downtown Belgrade, which had everybody was upset about that one. And there's another one up Dry Creek, and it's just supposed to all help break up traffic. So then when they go to do the big underpass or overpass, whatever it is, that it'll just reduce some of that headache for 2 years.
I know some people complain about the roundabouts, but I think the numbers on them are pretty like black and white, that it's like 60 or 70% better traffic flow than stoplights. And I'm like, I think they're great because I've sat at a lot of stoplights, especially you could go on and on about the left-hand turn it's between Bozeman and Belgrade, and you just sit there forever. But the traffic circles, for the most part, keep flowing.
They work well as long as someone understands how to use it.
Yeah,
it's usually the worst is it turns into a stoplight sometimes.
I see the new ones now have the sign about leaving the traffic circles both lanes for the trucks, the trailers, because you could see those getting funky.
Oh, they get a little dicey through there when you come through the semi, and someone all of a sudden gets next to you, and you're like, "Uh-oh, this isn't going to go well."
Yeah, that makes sense. I've heard people say or they've called, and I think I have too, termed it like a gold rush in Bozeman, like with COVID and everything. Have you experienced that from being in the contractor side with people like coming in, and you're saying the contractors having a bad reputation, people just trying to come in and, make some money and take advantage of the growth here?
It's COVID certainly, brought more in, but it's no different than it was 20 years ago, I think. I mean, pre 07, 08 crash, we had people gold rushing here from across the country trying to make $1.
Yeah.
And so and you're seeing that now. You're kind of starting to see some of the bottom of the barrel, potentially contractors from other areas that maybe have burned enough bridges wherever they're at. And so this is their next territory to try to get some work out of. Yeah. And it's just an ongoing cycle, I think. Like it's just always going to be there. Anytime that we have College Town, we have, Big Sky, we got all the ski hills, the entire outdoor just space around us, plus the national parks. Like we're always a destination that people want to be at. And so I think you're just constantly going to have that revolving door, which goes back to why we put so much effort into making sure we have a strong reputation and say what we do and deliver what we need to and just build those relationships.
Yeah, I remember it was pre-COVID. That was when I moved here, and they're like, "Oh, this is one of the top 5 fastest growing cities in the U.S." Because everyone has said to me, "Oh, it was like, is COVID when it went crazy?" Or like, it was around 2010 roughly when my sister was out here in school, and that was the first time I came, and I did remember it like not being obviously as busy as it is now. And when I moved back, I'm like, man, I was a little bit naive because I knew it was a cool spot, but I didn't really realize that it was like growing this fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? 50 or 100%. Like the population's doubled in the last 20 years. Don't quote me on any of these facts. Now I'm doubting myself. But whatever occurred in the last, 20, 25 years of growth, like we're looking to do that again in the next 20 years, which is like each time it's like a compounding effect. And, if we add, 30, 40,000 people to the valley in the next 20 years, like that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite an impact. And so it'll be interesting to see how it goes and what exactly happens, but we're excited for it.
Yeah. Patton, he does a bunch of stuff with Montana Festival. He was saying like no city or town has ever grown at the perfect rate. It makes complete sense. It's either like I come from a very small farm town that's like shifted and really slowed down a lot, and that's pretty depressing. And then like the alternative is it's growing too fast. There's too much traffic. Too many people are moving here from out of state.
Can't keep up.
But it's exciting. Like growth is much more exciting than death.
I would say so.
Seems like a pretty obvious statement.
There's certainly some good opportunity continue to be around here, and opportunity for those that are here, opportunity for those that are coming here.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Everybody can kind of live their Mountain West dream if they want to.
Do you think there's anything you foresee taking away jobs with AI, like in the trades?
Not really. I mean, we've thought through that and looked at it. I think the agent thing you're talking about be interesting to see about that, as I could see some of your office positions, getting, roles getting divvied up and kind of reduced from that standpoint, where you have like human redundancy and such. But like in the field, 3D printing, of course, is something they're trying to do, but every time housing costs get carried away, 3D printing comes in as like an alternative method.
Yeah.
And so that one, you certainly, an AI and tech could chase people out of it, but it's really hard at the end of the day to like not have the human factor when it comes to just physically putting products together.
Yeah. Yeah. I've wondered if there's anything crazy going on like in the trade world
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Or seen anything really. I have a hard time seeing how it would work, but I'm sure I'll be proven wrong someday.
Yeah. I mean, I guess initially, like at some point, there must have been a fear of, excavators when everyone was digging holes by hand.
When tractors were made,
they're
the same concept. Like, you'll never replace a horse. And then, Caterpillar came out with their first tractor, and now people are like, oh my gosh, like, how did we ever do this with horses?
Yeah.
Cell phones. Like, there's something inside of the AI. I just don't know exactly what it is, or the tech. It's certainly in its own, what do you want to call it, boom right now. And so the amount of data centers being built and the controversy around that and that whole side of it, I don't even fully understand exactly, but like something will come from it, kind of like the internet boom and bust. So I think we'll have this great race of AI to deliver to the market, and then we're going to have probably a bubble pop for a little bit, and then it'll catch back up or clean itself up, and then be something that's just a long-term benefit to society.
Yeah, I remember a friend of my father's said this to me when I was pretty young, and he's like, "Yep, I remember when we sold the last horse on the farm." And I'm sure we'll have some phrase like that with some job that was replaced,
right?
But no one wants to go back to digging holes with a shovel.
No.
Any more than we have to, which we still have to sometimes. Right. But yeah, it's interesting to think how it'll shape out.
It'd be very interesting, especially as a whole. I think the society is like really locked in on constant process improvement.
Yeah.
I would say like as the different generations, come up, like they certainly are not as accepting as doing stuff the harder way or the older way, or like, they're like, yeah, so my grandpa walked the school uphill both ways in 4 feet of snow. Like, good for him. I have a smarter way to do it.
Yeah.
And so it was just constantly doing better processes and such is what I think is coming out of it. And we'll just be more efficient as people.
My sister lived in Ohio years back. I remember going to visit, and you'd see like a lot of it's farmland. And there's, modern ag equipment, and then there's a few Amish families, and they're out there with their horses, and I'm like, that's gotta suck. Like, I get it if that's what you're used to, but to have it rubbed in your face all around you.
Right.
Like, it's one thing if that's the only option, but to see 100 years of advancement rubbed in your face. So I just don't think it's like in our human nature to go backwards.
Just the next field over, Bob and his 700 horse and deer.
Yeah. Just like taking out like hundreds of acres in a day, and they're out there swathing by hand.
Right.
But I don't know. So I don't know. It's exciting to think where it could be.
Right. So it'd be cool to see.
Anything Blanton's looking for from the community? Are you guys tiring or looking for help or anything that?
We aren't right now. So we've just, like I said, we're in that, it's kind of a plateau, we'll call it, or we've taken the stair step. And so we're just focused internally on our team and our current project workload and then our current clientele and working from that. Like we're always like the right person comes along for sure, but we're not actively out there looking for one position over the other.
Yeah.
We like the organic approach, like I was talking earlier. I mean, we'll probably wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, like now for whatever reason, something happened. We're like, yeah, it would make sense to have that team member as part of our team now, or that role as part of our team. And so then we'll just kind of organically see what happens. We're always wanting to grow, but we've recognized what happens if you get a machine in the wrong direction. And so we're just take it day at a time. It's the boring way.
It's like growing a mess. Like you just have a bigger mess.
Yeah.
So I know the feeling, like I'm speaking personally. So it's to be a little bit more strategic and like taking the long ways. Sometimes I think kind of what you're saying to build that foundation is much more.
Yep.
I mean, and you could think of that just to building a house, like
same concept.
Yeah. Where do people go if they want to find you online and at least check out what you do? Do you keep projects you've done and stuff listed there?
Yep. So our website, buildwithblanton.com, has portfolio of past projects on it and such, recent past projects, I should say. Your fiance just did an amazing website for us.
Yeah, so appreciate that plug. She did mine as well. She does a very good job.
Yeah, she did awesome. She definitely helped us step our professional look up for sure on the web presence. And then, with Blythe there, she takes care of our social side of it. And, we're always, putting out project updates and, whatever else is on there. I have to go look at it. I'm terrible at following social media, but I hear we have a lot going on.
Nice. I think I've seen some of it and I'm pretty distant from it too.
Yeah.
I'm a social media by desktop only guy.
It's not a bad way.
Yeah, I just keep a little distance.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I just like Marketplace because then I, buy stuff I don't need.
Yeah.
Steve on Marketplace always has something I need to buy.
Yeah. I told a friend of mine recently, I think we have the same Marketplace search history because we'll like send something to each other. Like I just saw that yesterday, man. But anyway, do you have a dream project? If there was like anything you haven't done that you want to do?
Oh, no. We just kind of like
you put it out there. You never know.
Yeah. We like them all. I mean, I don't have like one dream thing that like in my career, I want to build this, right? We really just enjoy building quality projects for, great clientele, which is cool because we never get pigeonholed into something or get our sights locked in on something that may not be a good fit, but you let your ego drive you and say like, I want to build that because I want the notoriety and I want the bragging rights. We just step back and we're like, it doesn't matter as long as it checks our boxes and fits with our culture and just fits with, where we're headed in our road vision in life, we'll build it.
Very cool. Do you guys do anything in Big Sky or no?
We haven't. It's on part of our growth map. We're certainly looking at projects up there and such. Same thing. We're just waiting for the right one to come along. I mean, Big Sky can make or break you. It can go really good and it can just be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's a different thought process, different, trade partner pool, just different logistics all around, all of which we're more than capable of handling. We just haven't really put ourselves out there yet to do it, mainly because we've had such great success, in the Valley and, we've done stuff up in like Columbia Falls and we like the Kalispell market. There's a lot of synergy, I think, back and forth the way the municipalities and such operate and the clientele.
Yeah.
And so Big Sky just is, it's there. We certainly want to, we've looked at quite a few, just haven't got across the line to do it yet.
Yeah, it definitely adds another element of logistics, just with time and distance. And is sourcing stuff being here in the middle of the country something that's tricky for you?
Some days,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, it's kind of the armpit of the world, it feels like, when
Yeah.
it comes to logistically getting things here. We are getting better.
Hmm.
It's certainly much better. $5 fuel doesn't help right now.
Yeah.
So that's certainly that puts a wrench in things. But, you know, 20 years ago, the amount of time, or 10 years ago, what it took to get something here versus today is, you know, Amazons of the world, UPS and the airport edition, and just that growing has really truncated that time.
I think I just saw like South Dakota is the furthest. I don't know if it was like, I think it was in North America, is like the furthest place from any of the oceans. So we're not far from South Dakota.
So maybe don't get sushi in South Dakota.
Yeah, I think that's what it was saying. But yeah, just the logistics of getting anything here, that's especially coming from overseas.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We've got some cool resources here locally too. But
yeah, we had some product come from Poland recently, and it went on quite the journey. And we tracked the shipping container and the ship all the way here to the coast and then to us.
Mm.
And it was pretty neat to watch something, just how far something travels on a journey.
Yeah. Yeah, but a friend of mine, you were talking about the data centers. He's working on a bunch of them. He started in the last couple of years, and he's been like talking about some of the stuff they've been going through to source stuff, and
I believe it.
Yeah, he's like running around the country or like chasing people around the country to get stuff.
Jeez.
So,
yeah.
And they're kind of in like small towns and, in the middle of the US.
Yeah, those are some resource consuming monsters, those projects. And I can't imagine like what they have to go through to get products from wherever. And especially now that there's more and more of them coming into construction.
Yeah.
Like they're all competing for the same product.
I'd heard talks of something in Butte. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, I caught that rumor somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like very secondhand from somebody in Washington, so I don't know, but it seems to be all the fuss these days.
Yeah, it's a real thing. And then there's one. What's the one they're doing north of Billings? Thought there was one up there.
I don't know about that one.
Thought there was one under construction.
There could be.
Sounds like a Google search later.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Vince, I appreciate you making time to come talk about what you do, and I'll link your website and everything, and people can find you and check out what you're doing. But anyway, thanks for building cool stuff in the community.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on here. Yeah,
thank you. Thanks for listening, folks. You can find the full blog post for every episode, along with key takeaways and links at mountain-mule.com. If you haven't yet, consider following the show. That one small action helps these Montana businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this podcast keep going too. If you know a business that would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out through the website or social. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. See you on the next show.